The world is filled with so many people of diverse backgrounds, but some are truly different in their own ways. So here's a list of 20 people, each with a distinct story to share. A British man believed he was dead, although he could breathe and walk. Graham was diagnosed with Cotard's syndrome, a condition believed to turn people into zombies. Graham acquired the condition after suffering from depression, during which time he attempted to commit suicide by getting into a bath with an electrical appliance. The condition made him lose interest in everything as he stopped talking and eating since he believed it was pointless. The most surprising aspect is how he went to his local cemetery since it was the closest thing to death. Graham's road to recovery began after scans revealed his brain's activity was as low as someone in a vegetative state. After undergoing treatment using therapy and drugs, Graham's health seems to have improved. 24-year-old Jodie Robson gave birth to her firstborn son without any memory of experiencing that magical moment. She is convinced that she has a rare condition called Klein-Levin syndrome, also called the Sleeping Beauty syndrome, which triggered her to sleep for 11 days. She first had this experience when she was 11 years old, and since then has had more episodes that have caused her to miss other important occasions, like the birthday of her sister and Christmas. It can be very frustrating for Jodie, who recuperates after a couple of weeks or more from her dreamlike state and has to depend on her husband to inform her about the transpired events. 23-year-old Romeo Dev is one of the world's smallest bodybuilders who passed away. He had a dwarfism condition and stood 2 feet 9 inches and weighed 10 kilograms. His loved ones will always remember Romeo as a hard-working man who never let his disability hold him back. Romeo was a celebrity in India and performed in TV shows and even graced the Guinness Book of World Records in 2008. The bodybuilder suffered from a brain aneurysm back in 2008 and was warned by his doctors to be careful. His father one day found him unconscious and took him to the hospital, but he fell into a coma and died on September 13, 2012. 25-year-old model Pixie Fox has spent over $119,200 in plastic surgery so she can achieve her goal of looking like cartoon characters Jessica Rabbit and Sleeping Beauty. The model has removed 6 of her lower ribs to obtain a 14-inch waistline, and Pixie has also undergone other procedures that include a breast job, nose lift, and butt lift. Despite her fit figure, she insisted on getting these surgeries done and believes that she is a perfect role model for young women today. She has a lot of Instagram followers to prove that. To maintain her figure, Pixie works out 4 to 5 hours daily. 37-year-old Tim Freed has conducted 16 years of research where he forces deadly snakes to bite him in the hopes of creating a human vaccine for snake wounds. He used himself as an experiment to show that he is immune to the poison these snakes contain. Tim also houses 5 snakes at home. He has endured quite a bit of pain and almost died after a deadly cobra bite. His relentless spirit and fixation with snakes even cost him a divorce from his wife of 20 years. Tim is being assisted by a PhD microbiologist who hopes to create a vaccine that will protect people from snake bites. 25-year-old Samara Ingrafia has been afflicted with a disorder called erythromelalgia, also known as a man-on-fire syndrome, since she was 9 years old. Her symptom includes a sense of severe burnt skin, and she is very sensitive to temperature changes. Several doctors were unable to give Samara and her father, who also suffers from the same disease, a proper diagnosis when she was younger. Due to their condition, they spend much of their time indoors, since anything above or below 17 degrees Celsius will affect them terribly. They both have tried all kinds of therapy, but have achieved no success. 31-year-old Cara Carlis suffers from an unusual disorder called persistent genital arousal disorder, which causes her to achieve multiple orgasms a day. Her average count was up to 160 times in 2 hours. Nothing stops her from experiencing these orgasms, and she's felt them at home, school, and the supermarket where it all began. Her sudden, intense arousal at the grocery store stimulated her 5 senses, causing her to have an orgasm for no reason. Her orgasm encounters have left her bewildered, and she's desperate to find a cure. Kara visited several doctors and has undergone countless tests, but nothing has proved to be successful. Kara no longer works and stays home because she's ashamed to show her condition. 45-year-old conjoined twins Ganga and Jamana Mandal, well known as the Spider Sisters, have been bitten by the love bug after several years of refusals from other men due to their odd appearance. But now they've both found bliss with teacher Jasimuddin Ahmad, whom they met at the circus where they worked 7 months ago. The twins share one stomach, but contain individual organs, including the heart, kidneys, and liver. Although they both share the same man, they believe that he loves them and is a good companion. The twins were seen by a surgeon who could possibly separate their bodies, but they both refused, believing it could be a high risk for them. They're very happy to have found a man who loves them and keeps them fulfilled. Known as the human spirograph, artist Tony Orrico uses his artistic skills in a non-conventional manner while drawing. He places his body over a huge canvas with a writing instrument and maneuvers his hands to and fro for hours to create beautiful abstract pieces. The paintings take quite a while to finish, but the results are amazing. Although he has never suffered any injuries, Tony advises people against doing this at home. His most aggressive work took him 7 hours to complete while kneeling down and following a recurring beat. His artwork is designed to test the mind and control dexterity. Though the outcome is perfectly created in a geometrical fashion, it still expresses heartfelt emotion. Born without legs, Kanye Sessa from Los Angeles is a unique model who is making a living modeling even though she has no legs. The parents of the 23-year-old model abandoned her 1 week after her birth because of her disability. Despite her condition, she makes $1,000 a day from her modeling career, and she's currently training in Korea in preparation for the Olympics in 2018. Disability is not inability for Kanya. She is determined to show the world that she doesn't need legs to be sexy and live an ordinary life. Gary Turner, who lives in the UK, suffers from an unusual medical disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which causes his collagen to malfunction and not work properly. His condition enables him to stretch his skin from his neck, arms, and stomach out wide, which seems beyond possible. Although he says it is not painful when stretched, Gary feels more of the pressure in his joints. Due to his condition, Gary accomplished the chartbuster achievement in Los Angeles for the Guinness World Records, where he gained his fame. Unfortunately for Gary, there is no cure for this disorder. Bojana Danilovic is a Serbian woman who has a unique brain disorder that causes her to see everything inverted, and because of this, she has to invert her newspapers, books, and TV. According to Harvard experts, this disorder is known as spatial orientation phenomenon, where the brain inverts the image during processing and the person turns everything upside down. Bojana said that scientists don't know the exact mechanism behind her disorder since it's quite different from others. Experts stated the condition is acceptable as it doesn't affect any other functions of her brain, and she's actually smarter than the average individual. Identical twins Abby and Brittany Hansel have been adjoined since birth. Despite being identical, they both contain their own organs and share different traits. It has been 25 years since these twins from Minnesota were born, yet they've learned to do everything together, from attending school, traveling, spending time with their peers, and going to work. After graduating from Bethel University, the twins opted to be teachers. They hope to deliver hope to children both in academics and in seizing life's obstacles. Desmond Blair was born with no hands. After earning his degrees in art and technology at the University of Texas in Dallas, he started applying for jobs. People gave him strange looks at the interviews, but that didn't stop him from obtaining a job as project manager in an IT department. At his job, he was inspired to focus on oil paintings using his left arm. His specialties are painting celebrities such as Rihanna, Paul Walker, and rap artist Andre. Desmond has never seen himself as having a disability. With his mother's positive encouragement, he has transformed a crisis into a blessing. He now completes 3 paintings a month and will have an upcoming first solo exhibit. 101-year-old grandmother Zhang Rufang surprised her family when a goat-like horn grew out of her forehead. Her youngest son had noticed a small growth a year before, but didn't seem to bother about it. But soon enough, the horn grew to 6 centimeters long. The horn contains keratin, which is the same protein our hair and hands have. There is another growth evolving in her right forehead, which her sons believe could be another horn. Elderly people who are light-skinned are usually known to develop these horn-like growths, which could be caused by skin cancer and warts. Erik Weihenmayer became the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest in May 2001. He also climbed Carstensz Pyramid before kayaking 277 miles of the Colorado River. Erik started going blind from retinoschisis at 13 years old. The idea of going blind did not crush his dream, however. He learned Braille and finally turned to rock climbing and wrestling, where he became a force to reckon. Erik's quest for adventure started when he climbed Mount Denali, which later led to his triumph of Mount Everest. He is truly inspirational as a motivational speaker, activist, and an incredible adventurer. Ting Hiefin, who comes from a poor town in China, surprised several individuals when her breasts drastically grew in size and she gained recognition for having some of the largest natural breasts in the world. Each of Ting's breasts weighed up to 10 kilograms and hangs over her belly button. It all started when Ting was going through puberty at the age of 12. Ting's mother mentioned the initial size was equal to that of her fist, but they continued to grow much larger. Doctors believed her mammary gland structure is irregular. A condition known as juvenile gigantomastia can cause the breast to dramatically grow during the individual's first menstrual period. Sadly, Ting got sick to the point where she wasn't able to walk or even see, but she managed to recover. There have been discussions and plans for her to undergo medical procedures in order to improve her health. Indonesian contortionist Mban Bayan can bend his body in half while he lies flat on his back with his feet extended on his stomach. He tried this act when he was 11 years old after he stepped into a thorny area that hurt his leg. Upon putting his leg on his mouth, he discovered how flexible his body was. Other positions include pulling his legs apart in different directions and stretching them to one side. Due to his skill, Mban has been able to perform and earn a living for his acts. Despite being older now, he is still famous and can still execute his tricks. 20-year-old Kay Underwood suffers from cataplexy, which causes her to faint each time she's plagued with strong emotions ranging from anxiety to rage or excitement. People suffering from this condition cannot move despite being conscious. She learned about her diagnosis 5 years ago after fainting 40 times in one day. Aside from cataplexy, Kay also has narcolepsy, which causes her to fall asleep without warning. Since both conditions don't have a cure, Kay has learned to accept and deal with her diseases. After visiting narcolepsy specialist Dr. Andrew Hall, Kay hopes specialists will find a cure for these diseases. 25-year-old Abul Bajanda from Kulna has been agonized for 7 years with an odd skin disorder called epidermodysplasia verruciformis. Symptoms include warts all over his body and roots that are stemmed in his hands and feet. This condition is believed to be hereditary. A similar case inflicted another man named Didi Koswara, who was featured in Discovery Channel due to his rare diagnosis. After Mr. Koswara was examined at a hospital, an American doctor believed that the human papillomavirus could have triggered this condition. Abul was confined to Dhaka Medical College and Hospital, where he will be treated. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.